Pow wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Part number 47, and I'm super excited to be with you guys. As always, we'll dive into the love of the community, then talk about what's happening on SwissBorg network. And as you guys know, we have just listed Optimism, but as well Arbitrum. And we're going to talk about if one is better to the other one. Obviously, we're going to talk a bit about the Guardian Vaults and the update about it. And I heard that there's some special loots coming out with Agora. A lot of cool stuff happening on the SwissBorg network and its friends. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fizel. I'm the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. Before getting into the powwow, I would just like to know what's your feeling from the powwow of last week on the operation teams, but the one on the DeFi one when we were in the Solana Breakpoint conference in Amsterdam. Do you guys like these powwows where you get to meet the team and that they walk you through what they do and what they're passionate about and how essentially they're servicing essentially SwissBorg community to get to financial freedom? So if you guys like this or you have any recommendations, today actually you're going to have a special airdrop for that person who has the highest amount of likes in the comment section. So please comment, give any love or ask a question or whatever you feel, or give anything that could improve this powwow to make it a bit more viral and to grow to a bigger audience. So just go for it and enjoy. Question of the week is there any borderless DeFi products or integration for are we going to be in Australia? For a time short is that no, we are building different DeFi things in the backbone. However, the Borg should be present into different DeFi protocols going forward and enable anyone around the world to essentially take part into the SwissBorg ecosystem. It's not welcome to the family, but every week we talk about community members that we valued a lot. And I really wanted to talk about Ivan Schuker. Or Yvon Schuker. Ivan has been someone that I approached, I think so, in late 2019, and it was really about to create an advisory board around SwissBorg, how to bring like a little bit some gray hairs to essentially SwissBorg in order to enable us to understand to not make all the mistakes, right? You always have to learn by an older brother or parents that enable you to teach what they went wrong and how they essentially, you will not replicate the same thing. Or essentially, if you're in a position, you don't know really well how to tackle this problem, well, then essentially you try to call up your older brother. And in this case, I think so Ivan has been one of the best, not one of the best, the best advisors we had so far. He's been really someone that's been tackling multiple different problems on multiple different levels, advising myself, but as well Jeremy, our CFO, Anthony, and everyone pretty much, even Nicolas, everyone regarding the executive teams at SwissBorg. And he's been really helping us in a very brilliant way. So for this, I just wanted to shout out to Ivan and thanking for the hard work that he's put into SwissBorg, and looking forward for the next crazy amounts of years we're going to have together. News of the week. There's a lot of things cooking. Obviously, one small one, just Avi companies rebounding to Avara. That cool name, like it. Why not? I think that OpenAI's fiasco is completely crazy, with Salman getting kicked out, bringing them back in Microsoft. All of that is super weird what's happening. The big thing out of this is that when you get potentially VCs, and you get essentially big corporate companies to acquire a big amount of shares, very often this kills the governance. The backbone of the story is what is happening with the OpenAI chatbot, with their chat, with ChatGPT. Is it something bizarre happening behind the scene? Maybe it is, but it's not great news for them, and it's definitely not great news for Sam Altman regarding his WorldCoin thing, which I never really advise to get into it. It looks very, very weird when an AI captain is scanning your eyeball to then prevent you to get fraud or giving you UBI behind it, unit universal basic income. I didn't buy that anyway, so that's why we never really pushed it. A lot more people filing for essentially ETFs, which is great, and will hopefully happen in Q1, Q2 next year. Last but not least, the dogs are going crazy. Bonk, which I met the team, by the way, at Solana Breakpoint because it was one of the main dogs on Solana for some time. I went through a 2000% rally, I think so, in the past 2 months. Really big miss there. It's sad because we were supposed to do something with these guys in last March, but it didn't happen because people are not too excited about it. Long story short, mem tokens are back into business. And last but not least, the noise, what's happening and the rumors is that Binance may strike a deal with the SEC in the US to clean essentially all their, let's say, complicated cases. And if that happens, that means there's a big chance of essentially Binance continuing their business, but more importantly, crypto in general having a very good 2024, as you guys are probably in the starting blocks right now. Market updates, the Bitcoin adoption rate, you see it's higher and higher, which I think so this is really, really good. You see that there's more people that essentially adopting, 67% of new people coming into the market, which is always a really, really good, I would say, sign of strength of getting new fresh money, but new people as well to get into this. I think so, which is very, very interesting as well, is that the holders is as well obviously growing. As you guys know, that makes a bit sense because essentially more people are getting into the market. I would say last but not least, I think so the very nice thing here is that there's still a big amount of whales that are in the market, but I would say in average it's still lower than it used to be, which is very nice. And I think so this will continue going forward and forward, is how to be able a lot of people to get into crypto through Bitcoin, but not having accumulating only big whales, but essentially being able to have a lot of people around the world get to own Bitcoin. Some people say it's 200 million, some people 400 million. It's hard to say what's the right number, but that is already a very big amount of people. I think that there's other things that we should really look into right now. We see that there's been obviously a decrease of USDC in the market last year and the last 2 years, of course, but there's a nice rebound that happened around here, right? So we see that the total market cap was 23 billion and it grew now to 24.6 billion, which is a little bit nice. So you're seeing new inflows coming into essentially USDC. But bam, look at this one. This is insane. This one is just crazy. So we're at all-time high in terms of USDT. I repeat myself, we're in all-time high of USDT. We almost have $90 billion of fresh money that's just looking to buy crypto or to get into DeFi. And if you look at essentially the span of this last, essentially, I would say, dates, it's just going crazy, right? So if we guys just look here right now, right, you see that in 2023 in the beginning we didn't have that much, right? We're at 65 billion, which is nice, but now we're at 87 billion. So there's been within this same year we have an increase, a crazy increase essentially of 22 billion USDT. That's 33% increase from essentially the beginning of the year, and that is fresh money getting into USDT in order to essentially buy crypto, probably do some remittances as well. You see in Tron there's more and more activity there, but really people adopting essentially crypto and waiting on the sidelines to get into essentially this new next bull season. So I think so this is what excites me really the most, besides obviously a DTF and all different other institutional adoption, and hopefully this new social fi and GameFi hypothesis that could bring the markets into crazy all-time highs. But this is very, very nice. And if you look at just the recent, it's just, the recent September, you see that, there's just billions that are being added every other week. And that's a lot of money for crypto, right? It's a lot of new fresh powder, essentially. Community events, guys. As you guys know, next week we will have 2 masterclasses at Genève and at Lausanne. I think both of them will be in French. So please invite everyone to come to Lausanne and to Geneva. It's a really great thing where we're gonna, go through different themes that enable you really to understand where we are and where we're heading in terms of markets and what are the great investments, potentially great investments to consider to grow your wealth and to get to financial freedom. So really looking forward to this. This event is 5 francs per person. I don't know why it's 5 francs. It is what it is. But regardless of this, please make it. It'll be a great joy. I will be at both of them. In the meantime, we have other great events as well. I almost forgot about this. Sorry. We have the Smart Cafe that's happening on this Thursday. Sorry. We have as well next Wednesday in Valais bowling, which I actually really enjoy bowling, so I'm really sad I won't be there. And we'll have a London community meetup as well on December 7th. Zealy Sprint, as you guys know, we always try to have a great amount of people that could grow our beautiful SwissBorg network. And for this, you just need to scan essentially this QR code, and there's going to be a $15 prize pool that will be essentially shared to all the participants this time. So everyone will be getting some of it, which is really nice and is really community centric. Talking about community centric and community friends, Agora, as the new decentralized loot box system, is about to be launched. And that's going to enable you essentially to have cross-chain rewards of tokens and NFTs, of Ape tokens, Agora tokens, SwissBorg tokens, many other as well. You'll be able as well to get essentially golden tickets if it happens that you're unlucky. And the golden ticket will essentially be able to share the jackpot that's within it. I heard that in terms of big prices, there's crazy amounts of NFTs. There's a Mutant Ape, Yacht Club, there's as well as Zuki, there's little Pudgies, and there's more things that will be shown as things grow. So looking forward to how Agora is really changing the game with this new crazy loots, decentralized loots that enable you to get great rewards. Alpha hunters, obviously this is a big thing that we are pushing at SwissBorg, and it enables you essentially to create tokens into the SwissBorg app, but as well to bring something that will be into the alpha vaults themselves. So there's a lot of things to be done, always in community centric. Thank you very much for those who are doing it. This is what we need you guys to do, is to bring the best projects in order to share it with the community, bring them to use their decentralized applications, and make sure that we as a collective community gets to bring the best players in. Announcement of the week, more fun things to be done is the Arbo Hunt. Essentially, as you guys know, Optimism and Arbitrum just has been listed last week on SwissBorg App. Essentially, you know that both of them are L2s. You know that Ethereum essentially has built one of the best blockchain of all time. But in order to decentralize it and make it very scalable, there's layer 2s that are on top of it that enable essentially DeFi applications to build on top and have a very high amount of transactions per second, but as well to make sure that the fees are very low. These are really what these layer 2s is all about, the scalability and creating a great user experience. What you have to know about these two L2s is that they share 80% essentially of all the markets. And let's now try to see what are the better ones. So as you can see here, this is the transactions that are happening in current in the last month or so. Essentially, Arbitrum 1 and Optimism are really the better ones, right? These are the big ones. There's other ZK ones and whatsoever, but Arbitrum 1 was really, let's say, one of the best one, and the volatility, the volume is really there. If you look at the transaction per seconds on Ethereum, they're not as fast. That's completely normal. But what I would like to look at as well is what is happening right now. What's the basis? So right now the TVL is obviously still locked essentially on Ethereum. There's a big amount on Tron, essentially that is a lot of USDCC and a lot of USDT as well. There's Binance Smart Chain, that's still a big one. But then in fourth position, you essentially see Arbitrum. And Arbitrum, essentially TVL is 2.1 billion, which is really nice. 1.8 billion of stablecoins. Which is quite crazy. And then you see essentially Optimism, which is much smaller actually when you think about it. It's essentially 769. So it's only 1/3 of it. So definitely for the time being, Arbitrum is being used the most. Let's look into now exactly what applications are using essentially Arbitrum. So overall, as you guys, since the release of Arbitrum, which is really the main layer 2 of Ethereum, the TVL has been quite constant, which is nice. And we can see here that one of the main essentially application is GMX. GMX is the best perpetual exchange that we have right now, I would say, within the DeFi space. So people that are based in leverage, essentially investments. So GMX is one, obviously there's UIDX as well, but GMX today has the biggest amount of users and volume too. There's Uniswap V3 as well, though it's quite big. And then there's Aave V3 as well. There's Radiant, Balancer as well. There's Camelot, Pendle, and Stargate. And then the other ones get a little bit smaller. But all in all, there is a big amount of essentially all the DeFi applications that Ethereum are using Arbitrum. Now, if you look at Optimism, it's not the same. It literally is not the same. There is synthetics right now, and this is a growing one. But then essentially it goes to Velodrome. So Velodrome essentially is a decentralized exchange, as you guys could check. I thought it was going to be potentially a perpetuals, but it actually isn't. So all in all, if you compare these two, right, you see that the good thing about Arbitrum is that there's a lot of derivatives exchange that are based on this, and obviously GMX is a big one. Where you see on the other side, essentially, there on Optimism, there's not really that amount. There's still dexes and lendings, which is good. There's some yield aggregator, which is good, but there is some derivatives, but it's still very, very small, right? Perpetual protocol, for example, but it's like super small. So there's not that, yes. And if you look at Base, essentially, it's even less here, right? So it's even smaller here. So I would go back to Arbitrum. And I think that Arbitrum is definitely the one that has more user adoption and TVL. So all in all, I really think that both layer 2s are really great. Obviously, Optimism was the first one, and technically it's both roll-ups. But Arbitrum has really been the one that's showing the light and has attracted a lot of different decentralized applications, which again is really good, because when you think about essentially what happens is a bit this on-chain, which is completely on Ethereum, and to some extent a lot of things that happens on Arbitrum and Optimism is there too, is a bit off-chain, but then reconfigures, goes back to on-chain. So it's a great way essentially to make sure that you're able to scale essentially these two different networks going forward. You know, when now the merge that happened, the surge and the purge will happen on Ethereum, does that mean that these layer 2 will still exist? Probably, if there's good research and technical, I would say, advancement that's been done on both projects. And for the time being, Arbitrum is definitely, I would say, a very interesting project, but so is Optimism. Chart of the week, talking about just Optimism and Arbitrum, for now being essentially a lot of Swiss people have essentially participated into acquiring these tokens, investing into it, French people as well. So that represents over 2/3 with the two cohorts. And then that follows a little bit with some people from the British market and Germans, Dutch, and others. All in all, I think so. There's as well a nice amount of people that have acquired some Helium tokens, which is the DePIN we talked about last week. Same, a lot of people have been depositing as well from different applications. I actually have to deposit my ARB that I had as a gift, as a beautiful, a nice airdrop. So I'll deposit in the app. Weekly Borg data, as this is one of the most important one, 406 new premiums, which is fantastic, which brings us to 151,000. Everything is pretty much up. So cast your score right now. It is how much? Last week was 7.1. This week it is 7.5 overall. The Borg didn't do too well, but still okay. The volume is pretty much, but activity social is up, and Borg holders and invitation is a bit lower. But overall, it's a very good another week. We are in the green over 7, which is really our goal here. So I'm very excited about that. Borgers, I am so excited about that we're back. We're back in games 3 weeks in a row, that we have a great community index score, which really shows the hard work where we're facing right now. It looks again that the cycle is starting in a beautiful way. I'm very, very bullish about this. You know, the fact that there's so much new stable coins, the fact that maybe Binance is going to get out of the bad cheats finally, the fact that the ETF sooner or later is going to be approved, the fact that there's essentially new narratives around GameFi, really cool, not necessarily only AAA games like Star Atlas, but as well other type of games that are being built right now. There's some social fi with Favor and Lens protocol itself, but there's other different things that are being built on CyberConnect and as well on Farcaster. So, you know, I'm very, very positive about what's being done. Regarding SwissBorg itself, is just positioning itself in a better way, so which is really, really good. I think so. There's still a lot to be done, but you know, from the new sex, you know, we're better than sex, right? This is I think the new narrative. I repeat it again, you know, the better sex, right? I think so. This is something that really I've been enjoying a lot. Talking about how the SMEX is just changing the game, how we're bringing really value about from offering the best service but utilizing blockchain in the best way possible. This is something else that I'm very, 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 very excited about. A lot of people are now in the green in the app. I've seen this. There's more and more users that finally have been able to DCA or auto invest throughout 23, and that put their positions of their purchase of Bitcoin, Ethereum at a lower position, and they're finally now back into the green, which is really, really good. So all of that, I couldn't be more excited. Pour tous les francophones, je vous vois, j'espère, la semaine prochaine à Lausanne et à Genève. And like always, be healthy, be wealthy, love our Borg and our equity. Take care, guys. Much love. Bye.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you 0 fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.